You want to build a career creating these amazing, once-in-a-lifetime travel experiences for people. Awesome goal. But let's be real, the path to get there can feel, well, a little confusing. It's just crowded with all these different certifications and courses, and it's super easy to get lost. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. We're breaking down which certifications actually matter, and even more important, what it really truly takes to land that job.
Okay, first things first. You're probably thinking, don't I need a 4-year degree in tourism or something just to get my foot in the door? And you know what? That's a totally fair assumption. I mean, in a lot of industries, that's a hard requirement. But the travel industry? It kind of plays by its own set of rules.
So let's just get this out of the way right now. There is no single mandatory exam or degree that you have to sell travel. That's probably the biggest myth we need to bust right off the bat. Seriously, you could, in theory, just start your own travel agency tomorrow, but, and this is a huge but, just because you can do something doesn't always mean you should.
So why does all this professionalism matter so much? Well, look at the scale of this thing. The industry is absolutely massive. We're talking about global business travel spending that's on track to hit $1.64 trillion by 2025. That's trillion with a T. So you're not just booking a fun little vacation, you're often managing huge financial investments for people and companies. To stand out in a crowd that big, you need more than just a passion for travel. You need to prove you can be trusted. And that, right there, is where credentials come into play.
Okay, so you might be thinking, if there's no mandatory exam, why even bother with all these certifications? And that's a good question. But see, the question isn't really, what do I have to do to get started? The real question, the one you should be asking is, what do I need to do to build a real, lasting career in this industry?
And it all boils down to a really simple difference. A license, that's something the government says you have to have. A credential, on the other hand, is a qualification you earn to prove you know your stuff. Here's a good way to think about it. Pretty much anyone can cook a meal at home, right? But if you want to work in a top-tier restaurant, you go to culinary school. These certifications, they're your culinary school for the travel world.
So where do you start? What's step one? Well, for anyone who's brand new to the industry, the first step is pretty much always the same. You need that foundational credential, the one that gives you that bedrock of knowledge you need to build a real career on, and that's going to be the TAP test.
The Travel Agent Proficiency Test, or TAP for short, is, well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. The Travel Institute themselves call it the industry-recognized starting point for new pros. When you pass this, you're sending a really clear signal to any potential employer. It says, hey, I've done my homework. I know the fundamentals.
And this isn't about some abstract, high-level theory. Nope, the TAP test is all about the practical stuff you need to know on day one. We're talking about the essentials, like understanding regulations for visas and passports, knowing the difference between cruise lines, tour operators, and other suppliers, and of course, the basics of sales and customer service. This is the foundation that's going to save you from making those really common and sometimes really costly mistakes when you're just starting out. All right, so let's say you've passed the TAP test. You've gotten your start, you're booking some travel, and you realize, wow, I actually love doing this. So what's next? The next step is about making that leap from being entry-level to becoming a committed professional. This is for the folks who see this as a long-term career, not just a job.
This is where the Certified Travel Associate, or CTA, comes in. Earning this designation is a huge signal to the rest of the industry, and just as importantly to your clients, that you are absolutely serious about what you do. This one goes way beyond the basics. It starts building the skills that turn you from a simple order taker into a true, trusted travel consultant. The CTA program is really comprehensive. We're talking 15 different areas of study, all designed to totally elevate your game. This is where you start learning things like advanced sales techniques, marketing strategies, and even time management. It's not just about booking the trip anymore. It's about learning how to be a more effective, more successful business person all around.
Quick break. If you've ever dreamed about becoming a travel agent but didn't know where to start, I've got something just for you. I created a complete step-by-step guide teaching how to become a travel agent, step by step. Inside, you'll learn exactly how to start from scratch, what tools you need, and how to actually make money helping people book their dream vacations. It's easy, clear, and designed for beginners who are serious about turning travel into a career. The best part? You can grab it right now. Link is in the description below. So if you're ready to stop dreaming and start building your future as a travel agent, check it out today.
But even once you're an established pro, the learning never really stops. The The highest levels of this industry are all about two things: leadership and specialization. This is the point where you go from being a great agent to becoming a real industry leader, or maybe even the go-to expert in a very specific and often very profitable niche.
So you can see there's a pretty clear career path laid out. After you've got your CTA, you can start aiming for the Certified Travel Counselor, the CTC. Now that one is for experienced agents who are moving into management, people who are developing and leading a team. Then at the very top of the ladder, you've got the CTIE, the Certified Travel Industry Executive. These are the leaders, the agency owners, the directors who are shaping the entire mission of a company.
And running right alongside that leadership track is another path: specialization. The most successful agents often become the person for one specific thing. They're the go-to expert for romance travel, or maybe they're the one everyone calls for luxury river cruises or adventure travel in Patagonia. Developing that kind of deep, specialized knowledge is such a powerful way to stand out and, frankly, to command much higher earnings.
So, there you have it. The certification path is pretty clear, right? From beginner to expert. It gives you the knowledge, it gives you the credibility, but, and you knew there was a but coming, a piece of paper by itself isn't going to get you hired. That's only one piece of the puzzle. So now, let's talk about the other half of the equation.
So what is it that employers really want? You got the certification. Now what? What are the skills that make an agency owner look at your resume and just say, yes, I need that person on my team? What's the secret sauce that actually makes you hireable?
Let's take a look at what the industry is practically screaming for right now. Based on what we're seeing for 2025, these are the skills that really matter. Digital literacy, that's huge. Can you handle complex booking systems and market yourself online? Communication and language skills, goes without saying. Adaptability and problem solving. What do you do when a volcano erupts and a client's flight gets canceled? And notice how many of these are what we call soft skills: a customer-centric mindset, leadership, teamwork, sustainability awareness, and just plain old attention to detail. These are the things that turn your knowledge into actual results.
And the demand for people who have these skills, it's absolutely exploding. The global hospitality industry is projected to support over 40 million jobs. Just think about that number. The opportunities are definitely out there. But they're not going to go to just anybody. They're going to go to the people who have that killer combination of the right credentials and the right skills.
So here's the bottom line. Think of a certification as your key. It gets your foot in the door. It proves you're serious. But it's your skills, your adaptability, your communication, your problem solving. That's what's going to determine how far you walk once you're inside that room. The certification opens the door, but the skills build the career. So the only real question left is, are you ready to work on both?